Greetings and welcome to Day with CK. This is going to be a quick one because what I really want you to do is go and read an article I just posted on Medium, which talks about exposure online, exposure to different things, accountability through internet services, privacy and things like that. But it does it all in the context of how we use social media, how we use these tools and all of these different things that we have access to, and then what that does to expose who we are online, but then also to one another. You know, I talked about wanting to have openness in my family, being able to share personal things that I'm doing with my family so that they would have the same access to me that somebody on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or Snapchat or Anchor or all these different services, right? I want them to have the same access to me that any of those people do, so that if I was tweeting about something or something was going on in my life that I was sharing on one of these social channels, that there would be no difference in the way that I would use that information, or that it would be relatable to my family, or even that they would have access to it. They wouldn't need to necessarily follow me on Twitter to understand what was going on in my day-to-day, you know, that I wouldn't have exclusives away from them. And I think that's really, really valuable and an important concept as I consider starting a home and what that's going to look like to train my children how to use social media, how I want to use those tools with my wife, and how I don't want to try and like hide things from my wife. You know, as a single guy, it's been really easy. And I talk about this in the article, so this is kind of like the director's commentary on the article, but I encourage you to read it because it changes when I start thinking about how I want to use these tools as shared experiences, not as exclusive experiences. And so you can read the article again, go to Medium, check it out. I really encourage you to take a look. But then also I wanted to, you know, I've been thinking about privacy and the way that we, and not like in the, you know, hashtag privacy, like, oh, you know, Apple told the FBI that they weren't going to build back doors. That's private. You know, I mean, not like that. I mean, just like in personal ways, the way that we tell people what we do, the way we share little details about our lives, what we are willing to put on the internet. You know, I mean, my boss follows me on Instagram. My mom watches these videos. You know, my wife reads my Twitter. You know what I mean? So all of these different things that we are learning and doing and exposing, the things that we're doing online are public access. And there's no point in trying to be somebody different online than you are in real life, because all somebody has to do is actually like watch you, you know, tweeting, or see you recording a snap or whatever it is, and call you out, because the transparency is so real that there is no hiding who you really are, and there's no point in trying to be somebody different in all these different contexts. I think gone are the days of, you know, you're one person in the office, and you're one person at home, and you're one person at church on Sunday, and all that kind of stuff. Not that you don't act appropriately to those situations, right? You show different levels of respect or enthusiasm or whatever it is based on who you're around and the context that you're in. You know, the way that I behave at home when it's just me and my family is going to be different than I do at the office, because the requirements and the implications of acting a certain way in each of those situations have different long-term effects. And I think that's where a lot of this is leading to, and something I want to tease out in future videos or articles or something, is that it's always about the long-term effect of whatever it is that you're trying to do. So in the context of a home, I'm going to react a certain way because the long-term effect of that has to do with the health and well-being of my family, and the legacy that I leave for my children, and the relationship that I have with my wife. And that is very different than the things that I work on at work, where I spend time doing certain things so that the legacy of that business is increased, or that the knowledge of my peers is increased, or that the training of people that I'm bringing up is increased, or whatever that is. And it's this, you know, that's all different than what I would do on a Sunday at church. That is about something that's very not me. It's about supporting this unit and glorifying God. And those things are all different, but I am always the same person. And I think the concept of that comes out when we start talking about transparency and privacy and social media and stuff like that, because it's really hilarious for me to take a picture and have my boss and my mom both read it, but then also know that, you know, there's a ton of people who don't know me from Adam that are reading that, or that are viewing that, or that are liking it, or whatever. And I think that that is important for us to think about as both as we go through our day, but then even as you go read that article, and I hope you do on Medium, that that you would be thinking about that while you're reading it, and thinking about how, you know, what the implications are in your life, and how you can use these different platforms to tell the true story of who you are, not the one that you want to show the world, not the one that you know, you need to do based on a certain standard of privacy or transparency or anything else, but that it would be whatever is true, that whatever is true about your life, or whatever you want to show people, or whatever, that would be what you reflect on social media, that would be, it would also dictate the standard of how you use these platforms. And then it wouldn't be trying to put on a facade or something else, because eventually it's going to come out. Someone's eventually going to call you on it, because they're going to see who you really are while you're recording a snap, or you're tweeting about something, or whatever it is. Those things are going to come out, and I think if we're intentional about it from the ground up, and we play the long game in whatever context is appropriate, and way that we do it that's appropriate to where we are, that is going to tell the longer story of who we really are and what's important to us. And that is way more valuable than anything in the moment, you know, of getting the likes or the pats on the back or whatever it is. That's all of that is so secondary compared to actually telling the truth. And I think that is the core of so much of what I believe, that it kind of took this little article on internet accountability to tease it out of me, but I want to find a lot more ways to talk about it. So hopefully that'll be interesting to you as you go on forward. So this actually isn't as short as I thought it would be, but it's kind of the director's cut of that Medium article, and so I hope you go read that and think about it. And as always, thank you for watching, for your time, and I appreciate your attention, and I'd love to hear what you think about all of this. I'll see you next time.